You know, it's times like these when I watch an episode like this, so we had tonight, that I'm just besides myself. I mean, I'm literally just coming down from shaking, like the amount of just what just went down. Guys, welcome back to The Walking Dead. We're talking season 9, episode 15, The Calm Before, and that title has no gravity to what just went down. Okay, Calm Before the Storm, right? What the hell did I just watch? I mean, I had heard rumors about Alpha and how bad she was, and compared to Negan and other things. Negan is a friggin' saint compared to Alpha, okay? From what we just saw and what we just went down. And I'm gonna tell you, this entire episode, I was already feeling on edge. I'm still shaking. This is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew something was coming. I had a bad feeling when we knew that a few of our friends were captured from the previous before. We knew this was coming, right? We knew that Michonne and Daryl, Carol and Yumiko was going to be caught by the Whispers. We knew that was going to go down. I figured it could have been one of them. There were talks about Ezekiel. Maybe something might happen with him. They were building him up so much, right? The king. But even though those guys, even though they were, and so these are spoilers, mind you, so if you haven't watched the episode, you want to see it, you don't want to know all this stuff, stop now, go watch, then come back and let's talk about this stuff. But here's your chance, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so all those friends were safe, but many of our friends are not. And so we start off the episode, we're at the fair, right, and everybody's coming together, and I gotta admit, it was a little bit cheesy at first, and I was kind of like, okay, happy times, whatever. I mean, it's a good thing, right? We need to see some happy times throughout all this chaos. But there was no way we could see or know what was going to fully go down here, except the beginning of the episode when they show a couple, right? And then I guess it was years before when they had found Hilltop, and I guess then we fast forward to around now. They've been together for 5 years, living under Hilltop, being safe and so forth. She's carving these cool little miniature medallions with the H on there, pretty neat stuff. And the husband's like, you need to make more of those. People would love those. And anyways, and so they get ambushed on the road. And friggin' Alpha is skinning her head, as sadistic as hell she is, which, I'm just like, okay, I figured as much, but it just wasn't fully ringing and resonating in my head what she'd be using that for. Maybe some of you were like, oh, sure, she's going to try and infiltrate. I did not think she would actually try to infiltrate the fair, and that's exactly what she did, and that's why I was just pretty much on edge the entire one. I swear, halfway through, I just had to lean forward in my chair, just hand over my mouth the entire time. If I wasn't doing that, I was just staring in awe. I wish I would have gotten a full reaction. Sorry. When I say reaction to these videos, it's my reaction right now, just talking about what went down, and you can see just the etchiness. This is pretty much how I was during the episode. My wife and I were watching, and we're just watching this madness unfold. And when they first show, I didn't even fully catch her at first, but when that camera kind of zoomed by, and I finally caught that hat that blonde-haired lady in the beginning was wearing, the one that Alpha skinned. And then I looked closer, and I didn't realize it was Alpha, but it didn't take me long to finally realize that it was her. And she was just walking around, just kind of taking it all in, looking at all the crafts and fairs, basically just thinking to herself, what a bunch of bullshit, right? But to us, this is, they're trying to humanize themselves again, get back to a society, right? Of people, working together, being with one another. And when she went up and met Ezekiel, I think my heart almost just completely dropped to my stomach. I was just like, oh my God. She's gonna kidnap Ezekiel, So I was figuring we're gonna lose him probably. I mean, the entire time I was like, we're gonna lose Ezekiel, and we keep moving forward and forward. And let's just get straight down to it. I mean, so they're all watching the film, right? And so we finally get a couple of flashbacks as we get into. I guess she goes in first and she sits down next to Lydia, right? And so we see the scene outside with Lydia and Alpha going at it, and Lydia's just like, these people care about me, they love me, you never did, you never gave me a choice, I'm staying here, Mom, just go, or I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna have him kill you. So Lydia saved her mom, and so I guess part of this could be honestly blamed on her in some ways. I don't think even Lydia knew the extent I think her mother would go here, but I actually at the moment I'm not really angry at Lydia, but I think I'm starting to sit back and just kind of take it all in. Maybe why I should be kind of mad at Lydia for what she did. I mean, she let her mother go. She knows how diabolical she is. I mean, no, Lydia didn't know that she had probably kidnapped those people throughout the night and got them staged up, getting ready to go to the slaughterhouse, but oh, it could have been, well, not ended there, because I'm sure Beta would take over, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like she should have done something, but it's her mother, I get it, so, she didn't kill her daughter, and Lydia didn't kill her mother, so, like, an even trade, I guess, but not even trade on our side. We lost a hell of a lot of good people here. And although it wasn't Ezekiel, which I could have swore, I would have bet money on it that it was going to be him, when she said that she showed that horde, that massive horde of thousands of walkers just waiting in their back door, just waiting to be unleashed, and basically just laying the terms down saying, you cross into my lands, then I'm going to unleash this horde on you guys, which that would just pretty much wipe out the groups. They couldn't take on that many. It's impossible. They'd have to do some serious thinking about how they're going to do it, and I don't think it can be done. But either way. And then she's like, I marked the territory, and you'll know what I mean. So I'm thinking we're going to see Ezekiel hung up or something like that, and they get up there and they see Sadiq tied up and kind of half out of it or whatever, and he's stumbling up the hill, and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. And what do we see? We see spits with heads on them, and as they reveal each one, seriously, I just kept feeling sicker and sicker to my stomach. I just was throughout the episode. I couldn't help it. I couldn't believe that they did this. I mean, seriously, Negan. I mean, hey, no, not putting Glenn and Abraham, out to the side or whatever, but this was ridiculous. They revealed Enid. They revealed Tara. I mean, early on too, and I'm just like, holy shit! And the fact that Tara just got taken that easily. Tara's got Spitfire in her. She's a Spitfire, right? She's got fire in her eye, I wanted to say. I'm just surprised that she was taken so easily. Maybe it wasn't easy, but we didn't see it, right? They reveal Henry. So I'm trying to understand this. So they get rid of Carl, which, from what I understand, Carl was supposed to be the one who got the relationship with Lydia, and then that's how the connection started going between the Whisperers, Hilltop, Alexandria, all that stuff. But they got rid of Carl, and they put Henry in that place instead, right? So Henry has now, had the relationship with Lydia, obviously. Here, it's building, that there was some little jabs at Lydia throughout the episode by some of the drinking crew guys, whatever, from the original crew that took Henry out drinking or whatever. And, they're like, don't start any trouble, so-and-so's got a thing for him anyways. But Henry confirmed, he goes, no, I like you. And she's like, I like you too. And it was even kind of questioning Lydia a little bit for a while, but I could see she's part of the creep. And they kill his ass off. Now I'm just like, whoa. What? I mean, this story is just kind of going crazy, and I'm just like, I don't know if it's crazy in a great way. I mean, they're killing off a lot of great characters. The Highwaymen, which we got to see in a flashback story, which was a very touching story. I actually got half a tear out of me. I was just sitting there because my head was cocked to the side. I'm gonna blame it on that. All the moisture goes to one side, and sometimes the tear will come out. But he's telling this great story about how they fought back and they tried, and obviously they would have never overwhelmed them with the Whisperers' numbers, but they at least tried and they killed some of them off. But the Highwaymen came in with, and I forget his name, and I wish I didn't, and I knew it earlier and I heard it, but I think he was another strong fighter, I believe from Hilltop. He had longer hair. Anyways, he was killed as well. The Highwaymen, I mean, at least 3 of their crew were all strung up, especially the main character guy, which I really liked his character. I thought it was great that they actually tried. They tried to save them. They held true to their contract. They didn't just run and hide or whatever. I thought that super badass, awesome. But yeah, all of these guys up there, and just seeing Carol's reaction, and they revealed Henry last. And again, I mean, it wasn't a super breakdown because I didn't really love Henry's character, but it doesn't mean I want to see him dead. I didn't want that. Honestly, even as much as the kid has pissed me off through all these, well, not say all these years, but for all these episodes, I'm still just like, wow. And I'd love to know what you guys are feeling. What did you feel when you saw all of our characters' heads up there? Were you like, hey, peace out, good riddance, I didn't really like you guys anyways? Or were you just as shocked as I am? Because again, it's not like they were my favorite characters. They weren't, but it still hits in a certain way all the same, especially in that kind of numbers. I mean, you want to talk about a message. That sends the complete message. And if I know Daryl and Michonne, and Carol, and even the King now, they are going to want some major revenge for this. And you know what? I'm just calling it out here right now. It's time to let Negan free. It's time to let a sadistic mind fight another sadistic one. I mean, it's time for his skills. It's time. He's needed. I started thinking it immediately as soon as I saw him. I was just like, get Negan out. Get him out and put him to work. He can work something out, and he'll be a great fighter. And he'll be doing something for this. I'm flabbergasted. I really honestly am. I can't even talk. I'm not even gonna cut any of this. I'm just giving it real, guys. This was a crazy episode. I mean, I want to compare it almost to that of the killing of Glenn and Abraham, although that had a kind of a whole nother impact in itself. And I'm not saying, oh yeah, I love Negan now, let's bring him in. No, but you know, time is time, and the story's moved on, and it's time for us to move on too. I say let that dude out and let him cause some mayhem on these fools, because I don't think Negan has any ties to these guys. I think even he, in his eyes, they're diabolical and nasty, nastier than even. At least he tried to keep order. What Alpha did, and let's talk about real quick Alpha and what she did to that. So remember when Beta walked up behind her, and he said Lydia, and she's like, I need to be alone. And I could see her, he could tell her eyes were watering up, but probably didn't see it totally, but you know, they're kind of like the two confidants, so he walked off. And then the one walked up as the tear, perfect timing, I'm sure that took several shots, went down the side of her cheek, and as soon as I looked over, I go, and I knew she was going to beckon for him. I knew it. There's no way she's going to be able to show any weakness and let any of these little peons live. And she sure did. She beckoned for his ass, took him over, and my wife was kind of like, what? What's the problem? Because I was like, oh my God, she's going to kill him. She did. She took the knife and just... She is sadistic, nasty, a great character, mind you. I love it. I love her. She's playing the character to a T. She's very scary, nasty, and again, I don't have to keep repeating the words. What do you think about Alpha and what she did tonight? I mean, perfect infiltration. I'd be curious to know how she was able to steal all those people without others noticing. You know, maybe I guess could have drugged them or something like that. But, you know, chloroform this or that, but I don't know. I mean, or just played her little stupid little I'm Debbie, something like that. Can you show me around, try to get him to an area, and then knock him out or so forth? But to get that many people, I mean, that's pretty legit. I mean, clearly, some of that crew was ambushed on the road, so she only had to, I guess, kidnap what? She had to kidnap Enid, Tara, Henry, obviously. But so I guess if they all had their guard down, because inside the fair, why would you think otherwise? Guys, wow, what an episode. But that's things I want to call. I want to talk about all the deaths we had tonight, which clearly is gonna allow for some extra budget into The Walking Dead. I'm sure that scene we saw, all cine effects with all the zombies and so forth, I'm sure that cost a pretty penny and will cost them in the future. So maybe that's where all the budgets are going to come back into play for losing all these characters. But I'm smiling, but I'm not, and I'm not happy, and this is just ridiculous. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. There's not really much else to really talk about other than what the future could be, and I'm hoping for some major revenge to go down here. I hope that our four communities can pull it together. It was nice to see Oceanside, which was a little odd. I mean, she was just kind of agreeing to everything, which I don't even know who that chick was, so I'm kind of surprised they didn't have anybody else unless they had to trade out characters, which I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But Oceanside seems to be back in. They all did sign the, what do you want to call it, the Walking Dead Treaty, you know, the Road Pact. I don't know what you want to call it, but all the communities signed, and now that Tara's gone, someone's gonna have to step up for. Oh, and I just forgot one more person they killed. They killed Earl's wife, Earl and Tammy with the baby. They got Tammy too, and that was probably a hit just at her, just seeing them with the baby and happy, probably just to make him miserable and, you know, just to screw with things even more. All the more for me just to want to hate Alpha, as if we didn't hate her already. Now we have the absolute almost hate for her, right? At least I know I do in my book. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm giving this episode, honestly guys, I'm giving it a huge score. I'm giving it a 9.5, and I'm telling you why. I felt on edge and shaky and sick to my stomach this entire episode, and it is hard for an episode to achieve that, okay? Because you know some things are going to go down, or maybe you can think about this or that, and especially if you know the comics, but since they've steered so far from the comics now, and in fact I don't think they're even partially on, you know, aligned or whatever, this just was just crazy. This was crazy, and I loved it. I loved not knowing and guessing one thing and totally pushing another one. I had a thought that, yeah, sure they could ambush that crew and so forth, but what was done, I wouldn't think. And the fact that they were all still zombified, so basically still undead, whatever, alive, and just sitting there on those spikes, I mean, how awful for them. So at least they put them all to rest, and then hopefully we'll see some good things to come, guys. So again, any comments you have on tonight's episode, please leave a little something. I'd love to get some conversation started. Maybe what you think they might be able to do in the future to try and fight off this major horde of real walkers, as well as deal with the whisper threat in between. And it's just nasty. I mean, they definitely have numbers between all the communities, but how are they going to be able to do this? I have no ideas for right now, so I'm going to leave it to you to give me some ideas, and hopefully we'll talk about it this week and see what happens with the next episode. So With that said, this is the Z-Man Show. That was episode 15, The Calm Before, and I will see you at the next review. See you guys.